Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to talk about Astral Shun. He's the latest character that has been added to the game. Now he's an Astral Knight, so what that means is that he will be linked up to another character in your box and he will copy that character's level. When I say level, I just mean kind of the star level. So for example, if you have another character who's 16 stars maxed out, what you can do is just get a single copy of Astral Shun, link up to that character, and Astral Shun will immediately become 16 stars. However, all of the clothes and constellation are not going to be copied over, so you still need to spend the resources to get level 30 clothes or 9 constellation stars, etc. But Astral Knight, I'm going to tell you up front. Sorry, Astral Shun, I'm going to tell you up front. Absolutely amazing character, one of the best defensive support I would say in the game right now. So definitely try to get him if you can, like 100%. One of, like he's I would say almost a must-have, for a lot of situations, and he's so flexible that you can pretty much slot him in any team, and that's why he's really good, and you should definitely try to get him. Right now, you can only buy him upfront with cash. However, if you wait for 20 days, he's going to be redeemable with in-game currencies for free. So obviously, I'm going to advise the latter, right? Why would you want to pay money for a character you can get for free? So just wait patiently. But obviously, stock up on all of your currencies for the time being. Do not spend a single one of them. You will need all the currencies you can get in order to make sure you can get all 60 fragments in order to get this character. So definitely just start saving up, stocking up all of your resources, of your coins, etc., to make sure you are able to get him for free after 20 days. All right, now I'm going to go through all of his skills, close and constellation, and I'll finish off the video by talking about how he should be played and why he's such an essential character for me. All right, so I'm gonna start off with his ultimate. So this one reduce damage on all allies by 35%, and it also recharge HP and shield. Sorry, yeah, heal the front row allies and also give them a shield. So damage reduction on all of your allies, shield and healing only on the first two. However, what you'll see later on is that if you have maxed out his clothes, this is going to be applied to your whole team. So an absolutely amazing skill. Now, you may have noticed this is actually similar to Signal Gold Close, and in fact, there are a lot of similarity between Astral Shun and the Signal Gold Close. And I'll probably make that comparison later on. I normally think of Astral Shun as kind of like a budget version or more player friendly version of a Signal Gold Close because you don't need to get all that many different copies, etc. Some of his skills are slightly weaker, but at the same time, he does have certain edge in terms of like consistency, etc., which I'll explain later on. But yeah, his ultimate very similar to a Signal Gold Close ultimate, provides shield, provides healing, and provides damage reduction. So very strong ultimate. Next, we move on to his looping skill. This one is quite straightforward actually. It just hits the front row enemies and send them to electricity. And what that basically means is that you will be doing more damage. Your whole team will be doing more damage to them. So it's just a bit of his offensive support, I guess. Next, we move to his Halo effect. Very straightforward skill, but very useful. This is always going to be activating throughout the whole battle and just increase the defense of your front row allies by 45%. It says just front row right now, but once we get to the constellation, you would then realize it can be actually expanded to your whole team, and that's going to be a massive increasing the defense of your whole team by 45%. That's just going to be absolutely amazing. Very straightforward skill, very simple skill, but so good. All right, now lastly we move on to his passive, and this is basically saying he is immune to skill damage once every 6 seconds. Once again, very straightforward skill, but very useful because unlike some of the ability you may have seen elsewhere, which is just immune to any kind of damage, this one actually specifically says immune to skill damage, and we all know skill damage do more than normal attacks, etc. So this is actually able to protect you when it's actually gonna hurt. So this is actually quite nice. So I really like this passive as well. All right, now we move on to his clothes. At first level, it's just gonna make your looping skill, that offensive support, have 100% guarantee of inflicting electricity. Next one, so level 10, what's gonna do is every single normal attack is now gonna add electricity effect. and that's actually really strong. I'm almost thinking whether he would be useful in boss battle because sending the boss to electricity with every single normal attack is pretty much gonna mean the boss is gonna be constantly under electricity the whole time. So the boss is gonna be constantly suffering from 25% extra damage, I believe. Yeah, 25% extra damage throughout the whole battle. So it may actually be worth, even though Astral Shun himself is not going to do much damage, that's for sure. Like his ultimate is a healing ultimate, right? It's literally doing hardly any damage. However, he could be very useful if you have other DPS on your team who's actually able to do very high amount of damage, and that just 25% extra multiplier may actually work out slightly better. So, it's something to be tested, but I certainly think, he may not be too bad a character in boss battle if you want, an alternative option there. But then I think the really OP one is more his once you actually get it to level 20 or level 30 when you max it out. And that's what I meant by first of all, level 20 is just going to be higher stats of the HP and also the shield. However, level 30, absolutely amazing. Your ultimate is now going to take effect on all of your allies. And that's basically is going to make it equivalent to what a single God Closer's ultimate is able to do. So absolutely a crazy skill. Then we move on to his constellation. First one I already mentioned, 3 out of 9. That's already really good because now your defense array, so that's the one increasing the whole team's, so increasing defense by 45%. Now that's going to protect your whole team. So absolutely amazing by itself. So 3 out of 9 is already very good. But 9 out of 9 gets even better because now they're also going to get your passive. And that's going to be the one where you are immune to skill attack every 8 seconds. So once again, very, very good constellation. So yeah, so if you do want to play Astral Shun, which I totally think you should, you definitely want to get max close or level 30 close. Constellation minimum 3 out of 9, but preferably if you can go 9 out of 9, that'd be great. So yeah, so that's why Astral Shun, you still need to spend quite a lot of resources. Even though he's just an astronaut, but that's mainly gonna go towards his close and constellation instead. All right. So why is he such a good character? Right now, we already have loads of characters in the game doing similar kind of things, right? You have Asina Gokos, you have Moses, we also have Surplus Shun, who hopefully will be released by Golden Arrow sometime soon, right? And your Astral Shun is actually going to function a very similar role to them because what it's able to do is essentially that opening damage reduction. So we already know how such as Seiya and Virgo Shun is kind of just absolutely crazy. Uh, in the past because they are just doing massive amount of burst damage right at the start of the battle and there's no way for you to even counter them. Some people were using Moses to counter them. Some people were using a single god close to counter them. Both of them countering requires your constellation to be maxed out. Whereas for your Astral your requirements are a lot lower. You only need 3 out of 9 in terms of your constellation in order to do that. And once again, compared to a single god close, who's a light and dark character, you need to get 22 copies to max him out. As for shown, you're able to do that straight away. And a lot of the skills are actually very similar as well, behave very similarly. And so because of that, Astral Shun is almost going to spell the end of the Sagittarius Seiya meta like completely because everyone essentially can get a free copy of a really strong character who's able to protect the whole team from the very beginning of the battle by increasing their defense by 45%. That's going to massively shut down any kind of burst amount of attack. And this is actually going to change the meta. Like the meta was already changing with Athena Gokos being released, to be honest. But now with Athena Gokos being released, that still was a bit of a barrier in terms of light and dark. Now with Astra Shun, a very easy access knight to get, and hopefully future in the near future with Shun as well, the meta for PvP is going to completely change into more of a defensive battle or long draw out battle rather than burst damage. So that's why Astra Shun is definitely a almost like a must-have character. Especially if you don't have a single god close, then Astra Shun is going to be a must-have, so you can shut down the enemies, Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun. But even if you do have a single god close, a lot of time you will be needing to play multiple teams, right? So, for example, if I am in Great Galaxy War, the inter-server one, I could fill 3 teams. I can have my Asina Gold Claws protecting against Sagittarius Seiya in one team. I can have my Moses to protect against Sagittarius Seiya in another team. But who's going to protect it in my third team, right? You do need another character, and that's where Astral Shun is going to come in. Obviously, you also have in the future Surplus Shun, who could do the same role as well. But if you are able to use Astral Shun already, then that potentially actually going to free up a slot in terms of your golden arrow character as well. So maybe you don't actually have to get surplus Shun anymore. So once again, that's actually going to be really strong. So that's why I definitely recommend you to get Shun no matter what. I'm gonna just kind of wrap on the video. Once again, comparing Shun with Athena Gold Claws. I do think Shun is slightly weaker than Athena Gold Claws in terms of quite a few different things, to be honest. Like for example, if you look at his ultimate, a lot of the stats are gonna be lower. Like he protect the duration is slightly lower, the healing is slightly lower, the shield is lower, etc. Now, in terms of the other stuff, for example, he's able to grant your whole team with defense and also get your whole team with immune to skill damage every now and then. But we all know how Athena Gold Closes shield are, how crazy strong they are. And also Athena Gold Close can help you offensively by providing Cosmo as well, which is, very important. So that's why I do think Shun, a lot of the stats, a lot of the skills, if you compare them one by one, side by side, right next to each other, they are probably going to be weaker than Athena Gold Close. However, one area I do think Sean is gonna shine slightly more than Synagogue Clause. It's actually in terms of consistency. Because if you actually play a Synagogue Clause, what you realize is that a lot of her kit is actually RNG based, right? For her ultimate, it's only able to heal if the enemy is using an ultimate. Whereas Shun is able to heal regardless of any condition. Like there's no triggering condition. Likewise, Shun is just gonna add a standard increased defense and also immune to damage without any triggering condition. Whereas for Athena Gokos, to put up her shield, she need to be hit by a critical hit. So that's why, when you do play Athena Gokos, even though she's very strong, once she have all those skills activated, there is an RNG element. Whereas Shun, yes, it may not be as strong on face level, however, you do get that consistency instead. So that's why you definitely shouldn't ignore Shun, and I definitely recommend you getting Shun. Like if you already have a synagogue card, just get him for your second team. If you don't have a synagogue card, you need to get him. To shut down any burst damage from the enemies, etc.